About 13.7 billion years ago, the Big Bang nucleosynthesis occurred, creating the new makeup of our cosmos, consisting mainly of hydrogen, helium, and some lithium, boron, and beryllium. Throughout fluctuations in density originating from quantum fluctuations, hydrogen and helium gases formed stars. With the fusion of those lighter elements, immense amounts of light and heat were produced, generating heavier elements in the central regions of the star. The smallest stars are only capable of synthesizing helium. Stars that are around the mass of our Sun can create helium, carbon, and oxygen. Stars that are over 8 times bigger than our Sun, also known as massive stars, synthesize all the elements from helium to nickel and iron. The majority of even heavier elements are created through supernova explosions and some through massive red giant stars. With the dispersion of the outer layers of the star, processed material generates giant molecular clouds that become incorporated in future stars, planets, and thus life forms. 4.5 billion years ago, our Sun formed, pulling the debris in within its spinning motion. This flattened these debris in rings surrounding the Sun. The matter then collided and was pulled together into larger planet-like structures that orbited the Sun, with enough orbital energy to be not sucked in by its gravity. The Earth is such a planet. According to thought that 1 billion years after the Earth was formed, life appeared on the planet. The question of how it appeared is, in a sense, the holy grail of biology, and it is yet to be fully resolved. Life is thought to have appeared from inanimate matter as the result of prebiotic chemistry. Certain theories propose that life arose outside of Earth, but the general scientific opinion is that life originated on Earth itself. The most popular theory for prebiotic chemistry on Earth is that of the primordial soup. Life would have appeared in the ocean of our young planet as a result of a great input of energy. An example of that would be lightning. That energy would have reacted with the elements already present in our atmosphere and resulted in the creation of organic matter. This solution, however, seems inconsistent with our new knowledge of the early atmosphere. It cannot explain how we would have come to reproduction and selection from organic matter in the ocean. Let us therefore dive to the depths. Gunther Wechtershauser proposed the more likely hypothesis that life arose at very high temperatures in and around hydrothermal vents. Chemical transformation of carbon dioxide and hydrogen into simple carbon-based molecules such as amino acids or proteins were made possible by the natural charge at the surface of iron and sulfur-rich vents. The difference in acidity between the seawater and the liquid inside the vents would have created a battery-like environment. The resulting charge would have enabled the formation of organic molecules out of anorganic reagents, and eventually more complex amino acids, which in turn enabled the creation of the very first living organisms. These organisms needed the chemical reactions inside the vents to survive, since they were unable to synthesize organic materials themselves. Over time, these organisms would evolve their own methods of creating organic matter, which enabled them to leave the vents and begin their journey upwards to the surface. The organisms that left the vents diversified, setting the stage for the appearance of prokaryotes and eukaryotes. According to Ernst Haeckel, these cells colonized, working in groups to achieve their goals. Haeckel's theory is called colonial theory, and states that as colonial cells became more and more interdependent, some of the cells specialized to perform different tasks and the cells of the colony became differentiated. Eventually, cells in the colony became so specialized and interdependent that they could no longer survive on their own. At this point, they are no longer known as a colony, but as a multicellular organism. These early animals were simple, but over time, cells specialized further, and earlier animals would form complex bodies. As cells became ever more specialized and differentiated, true animals evolved as cells formed tissues and then organs. An organism consisting of many cells, or more than one cell, to perform all vital functions is a multicellular organism. More cells mean these organisms are large and complex in terms of composition and structure. The cells these multicellular organisms consist of are known as eukaryotes. All the cells in multicellular organisms work together to keep the organism alive. This creates a variety of complex functions working simultaneously. Examples of this are circulation, respiration, and nerve responses, all of which are also found in human beings. Genetic mechanisms that created specialized cell types imply that all cells must be able to switch genes on and off in response to changes in their environment. The cells of multicellular organisms evolve this capacity to an extreme degree and in highly specialized ways to form an organized array of differentiated cell types. Multicellular organisms are incredibly diversified and are all part of the ecosystem known as Earth, which in turn is a part of the system known as the universe, bringing us back to where we started.